Yeah, what's going on in the 5 a.m. early morning? I know a lot of people gonna be upset because I already got bad feedback the other day about my Juneteenth celebration and the freeing of the white children, the white labor children. See, they don't want to talk about this right here, and I want to know which one is worse right quick. This probably won't even be 20 or 30 minutes, but I'm doing this brief video to talk about topics they don't want to talk about. All they want to talk about is the African American and the African slavery of the chattel slavery. See, they don't want to talk about this right here. See, they don't want to talk about this right here. Nobody want to talk about this. One more, I got another one too. Hold on. Look at that. Now look at this right here. Look at this. See that? They don't want to talk about this little girl with no shoes on. Could you imagine what happened to her? Could you imagine what was going through the minds of these little children? So I'm asking you, which one is worse? The enslavement of Africans or these little children? Because you can imagine how terrified these little children were having to wake up working in these factories. I'm showing the brutality of little children having to go to work every day, 14 hours a day, and go to school for 6 hours. They only got 5 hours of sleep, and it was only eating one time a day. And bad things happened to them. That's correct. Some bad stuff was happening. This is right here in America. This is in Maine. And this one right here is in a cotton field in Carolina right here. As you can see, this one right here in the cotton fields. See, they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about Juneteenth all the time and some Africans down in Texas. But they don't want to talk about the little children that had to wake up at 5 in the morning. They couldn't go to school. Some of them couldn't even go to school. They didn't have any shoes on. They don't want to talk about that. Let's go and find the ones with no shoes on. Hold on. I got some with no shoes. I'm definitely tripping. That's in my whole other phone. I'm finna get the phone in a minute. I got a whole nother phone. They got the images in there of the other little children. I can get it in a little while, but I just want to talk about this right quick. See, you got to understand every year in February, Black History Month and Juneteenth month, Juneteenth or whatever, you know, every month we got to talk about the African Americans and Juneteenth. Look at this little girl with no shoes on, and we don't know about this. All we know about is the black African Americans and Jim Crow and chattel slavery and what was happening to these little children is what I want to know. And there are so many horrendous stories that they're not going to document because it's going to mess up their image of being some lily perfect little white, living all the American dream. You're not going to hear about the children 100 years ago, especially during World War II, The little children was working in the factories. They were working in cotton mills all around the country. They were working in textile mills 6 years old, the youngest. They wanted the youngest ones in there working. I can go and pull it up. I can pull up the proof. I'm going to do it in a few minutes. So could you imagine, wanting to go to, celebrate Christmas, celebrate your birthday, and you're 12 years old? You're 6 years old as a little white child, and you got to run around here waking up, working all hard, back breaking labor. I'll show you. Wait a minute. Let me show him. See, I don't need a voice. This is just one image right here. I'm gonna show y'all some more images right now. I'm gonna show y'all right now. Cotton mills workers. Let's go and get the images. Now I know a lot of people are not gonna like this because they want to be the only victims. They want to be the only victims. And I understand that some people were, drug around and, brutalized during the Jim Crow and the chattel slavery of the Africans. But what about these little children? Multiple images. Okay, let's go back. Hold on. Look at this one right here. Textile mills. Where is it at? I just seen it. Where is it at? I just seen it somewhere. Look at this one right here. Look how little those children are with no shoes on working grown men jobs. Nobody's telling us about this. All they are talking about is some African Americans. All right. And it pains me. It really upsets me that the little children have to work hard. Okay, you look like a mestizo. I don't know what you're coming up here for, Toro Loco. I think. What do you want? Because you're
I was
from.
gonna,
I
I was
think.
gonna say, because I think those kids are either Irish or Italian. But why don't you also look up, what do you call it, slavery of the Irish in the 1600s? They were
Let me
actually
see.
the first American slaves before African chattel slavery.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Yeah, because I think those kids right there are anywhere from Irish to Italian.
What is
Even
this
though my
right here?
name's Toro, my dad is Mexican, which is Spaniard. That's where our origins come from.
Okay,
And my
right here.
mother
If you
is
can read the
Irish.
screen, my screen, it says it right there. In the 17th and the 18th century, more than 300,000 white people were shipped as American as slaves. It doesn't say anything about Irish. Now, when you go down, it says the urchins were swept up from London streets to labor in the tobacco fields
Yep.
where life expectancy was no more than 2 years.
So the
Brothels
slaves of
was raided to
London.
provide breeders for Virginia.
So
See, like I say,
ask Google who
hold
were
on, you
the
got to go ahead.
slaves
You got it.
of ask Google who were the slaves of London, which is today's Great Britain, which is England. So ask Google who were the slaves of England. It'll tell you
Okay,
Irish and Scottish people.
let me see. Let me see. Were white slaves in America? Let's see what it says. Let me see. Oh my goodness, look what this says right here. Oh my goodness, this is scary stuff. Yes. Now I'm gonna go and show you the English ones too, because it was a bunch of English ones. Yes, while the most prominent form of it was in America was the Africans, a significant number of white Europeans were also enslaved. That's right, London is in England. Ricky Boy,
Yep.
these individuals, often indentured servants or poor people, were brought to America and forced to work primarily in the tobacco fields. Okay, now let's go and see about
So
the
what I'm trying to tell you, brother, is that they had only one set of white people who were considered the Guz with the black folks. You know what I mean? Gaga. You feel me? GGA. And guess who that was? The Irish. The Irish were just as labeled as much as the black folks were.
Right. Okay. So let's go and get this image right here. Let me show you this one.
Until white until whiteness became a thing. And why was that? Because the majority of the white population didn't understand why whites were enslaving whites, so they had to turn the narrative to the black folk.
I got a gang of people trying to come up here. Okay. Adding Mendoza, and you know, in our historic documentations. Okay. So right
Yeah,
here,
the
these don't
Irish.
look. Hold on one second. This don't look like Irish people to me. These look like everyday white children right now today,
I'm
running
the
around here
Irish,
named
bro.
Connor and
I'm
Brian.
Irish.
No, these are not Irish. These are white kids. I'm gonna show you right here. Now let's
You
look at
don't think
this.
Irish are white? So my
Uh,
mother, who's considered black Irish, she ain't white. You know why they call them black Irish? Because they
why?
tan.
But
And why
these
do
kids
they?
don't
One
tan.
minute,
Look at
one
their
minute.
white
Why
area.
they? Why do black Irish tan? Because they intermix with the Spaniards, bro.
Yeah, but these are white kids. These are not
Yeah,
tan kids.
yeah.
You
There's
see?
also white Irish who did not mingle with the Spaniards. You ever heard of the Spanish Armada?
Yeah, but you're just trying to make it like it was only
I'm not trying to make it sound like anything,
Irish.
brother.
I mean,
I'm Irish. No, Irish people were
let's go
legit.
and get
It
some white
literally
ones.
said no, no gers. They said no dogs, and they said no mix. Who are
Yeah, that's just the
mixed?
stories you read.
Well,
See, I'm
it's not
covering the
the
story.
stories. This is something you can look on Google. It said no gers, no dogs, and no mix.
Oh yeah,
Mix
yeah, that's a
are
good point,
Irish
Ricky
people.
boy. That's a good point.
Mix
Um,
are Irish people. You know what my mom's last name is? McAuliffe.
These are
I'm a
20th set of me pictures, Joe.
McAuliffe, bro. I'm a straight Mick.
Those are 20th
What's
set of me
up,
pictures,
bro?
Joe.
I'm a
hey,
Mick
what's up,
too,
bro?
bro.
What's
You
up?
gonna tell me about my history? You crazy as hell. Ask
No, no,
Google.
no.
It'll
What I'm
confirm
saying
all of
is,
it.
what I'm trying to say is, there are stories you haven't heard about. You're only worried about your story. I'm worried
No,
about the other
I
story.
know about the stories, bro. About how the Irish worked the plantations in Cuba, how the Irish worked the fucking tobacco
This is in
fields.
North
How
America.
one minute,
This is in North
I know,
America. This is
I'm
not in
getting
Cuba
there.
though.
I'm getting there. And
Okay.
also how the Irish also worked in the factories, how the Irish also worked a lot of labor jobs, and how they were underpaid and also living in harsh conditions. Where do you think the word redneck comes from? The word redneck comes from the Irish people who are working the fields because their necks would get red and same with their bodies and they would die from heat exhaustion because they were out of their climate, bro. That's where redneck comes from. The redneck comes from the Irish person who was literally burning in the fields because they were told that you had to work them fields. So yeah,
Okay.
that's indentured slavery for you, bro. They don't
White.
want to talk about that though. You know why
Talk
they don't
about the
want to
white
talk about that
Englishman.
though? You know why they don't want to talk about that though? Because if you get the Irish and the black folks together, bro, there might be some reparations to account for.
Okay,
No,
so
it's facts, bro. But the thing is, us Irish folks, we don't care about that. The only thing we care about is give us the motherfucking
white
opportunity so we can do something for ourselves.
English.
That's the only fucking thing we care about. We don't want a handout. Give us a fucking opportunity.
Yeah, I don't, I understand,
I'm not
we
saying you
about
want that.
everything.
I'm just saying in general.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. You see the little blonde haired little girl right here. See, I'm more worried about that.
The blonde
Understand
haired
you
girl,
got the
there's a lot of
Irish,
blondes in Ireland. Are you kidding
right?
me?
So that's white people. I'm worried about white people. I'm not worried about just Irish or
You don't
whatever.
think Irish people are white people?
Um, see what I'm
Irish
saying is, see,
Irish
Irish
people are
is
white
just one
people, bro.
country. It was
No,
more countries than
but
Ireland. It was
no,
England too.
no.
You see what I'm
England,
saying? You're
England
just
was the
worried about Ireland.
England was the slave master, bro.
Okay,
That's
hold on.
what
Let
you're
me
not
read it again. Let me
understanding.
read it again. Let me read
The
it one more
slave
time.
master was England.
Right. So let's read it one
The
more time.
slave master is who owns Africa today. Same with
Okay.
France.
So let me read it one more time. It says it right here. The urchins were swept up from London streets. See, London. London is in England. Then you have the
Exactly.
brothels. I don't know if you know what a brothel is. They were raided to provide breeders for Virginia. So they were breeding them. See, this is, you feel what I'm saying? This is important stuff
That's
because
when you ask who were they breeding.
whites people, it don't matter if they're
It's not,
Irish or
see,
not.
this, no, this is the thing, bro. When you start talking about white people, especially when you're talking about history and you're asking what
Look
the
at this one.
actual factual things are, you literally have to depict Irish, English, Scottish, Spanish, Portuguese, French, German, Norwegian, Finland. Do you understand how many white people make up Europe, bro? Do you know
I
how many
mean,
white people have different languages from the other fucking 30 plus different white people? This is something you have to understand. White people are not all the same. There are white people who burn. There are white people who tan. There are white people who also are yellow. There are white people who turn red.
okay.
There's so many different kinds of white people, bro. That's that, and this is where the confusion and where the animosity between white and black is coming at, because a lot of people who know their culture, for instance, you know how they say white people can't be racist, bro. White people are racist to each other. Why is that? What do you think a Mick is? A Mick is an Irish person. What do you think a Guinea is? A Guinea, think of a guinea. We're talking about a guinea pig. What race looks like a guinea pig, bro? A fucking Italian. What about a fucking Polak? That's what you're calling a Polish man. What about a kike? That's what you call a fucking Jew. You want me to go on?
No,
White
because
people are
what I'm
racist towards
focusing
white
on
people,
is,
bro.
I
Like,
understand,
what do you
you want
mean?
to talk about Irish.
No, let's
Uh,
talk about them all. Let's
I
talk
want
about
to
them
talk
all. What
about
do you
them
what do
all.
you think a
Like,
germ is? 1 minute. What do you think a germ is? A germ? Like, that's a germ. Like somebody who nasty. You talking about a German, bro?
you see that
What do you call a
white
rucksack?
cargo,
A
see
Russian.
that white cargo. See,
Like, come
what
on,
I
man.
want to do is, see, I understand the African American and the Irish were in, put through what they went through. The Irish, but Ireland is one country.
Irish and the Scottish
The
and the Scottish,
Scottish,
and
the
same with the Nor.
British,
1 minute, the Norwegian.
the
There was poor
Norwegian, right?
British.
Exactly.
There was
Slavic. Let's look it up.
Finns. 1 minute, there was Finns. There was also Italians. Because at the end of the
Slavic
day, when it comes to
people.
Europeans, it's all about if you're rich or you're
See that right
poor.
there?
Look at America.
Let's go and
Look at
look up
America.
Slavic people. Now we looking at Slavic people. Look, Slavic. You see, that's a
Yeah,
Slavic
that's coming
person right
from.
there. Slavic.
Yeah, that's coming from Finland and Norway and all that. Yeah.
You see, so these are the people I'm talking about that was tricked over to America. They didn't know what was finna happen,
None
and
of them
they
did.
might be from Ireland, London, whatever, but they're Slavic. That's what I'm trying to point out. Slavic people. Now let's get to this. Look at this one. She was a princess over there in Europe. She's going to be reduced to a factory worker.
Yeah.
Nobody has a story about that because they only want to talk about Irish and African. That's my point. What about this woman? Let's go and find her. We're gonna find her. Watch it.
It, you want to know why they don't talk about it? I'll tell you right now. You know why they don't talk about it? Because they don't
And
care to bring it up.
I care about it. I want to
Bro,
talk about what
brother,
happened to
but,
him.
but, brother, none of them care.
I care. We're gonna we're
You
gonna
know why
we're
they,
gonna get him some.
you
We're
know
gonna
why
get him
they,
some.
1 minute, you know why they don't care?
Okay. Okay.
Do you
Let
want
me
to know
see.
why they don't care? Come on, man. This is,
Not
you
in
come,
Yale,
you talking to
Russia,
somebody whose family tree went through it.
America.
Well, you should look up my last name, Torres.
Look at this one
Christopher
right
Torres.
here. Now,
I'm
all
gonna
of
find
those
out.
women. This is over here in America, 1928. Look.
Yeah.
So this is my problem. They want to run around here pointing their finger, at the white population, but they don't want to talk about how they were working and, getting mistreated. So how did these people mistreat you when they got to sit up there working in these factories by the millions? That's what I want to talk about. They brought, they were whipping somebody. No, they weren't. They were working in the factory. That's the point I'm making. Now they could be from Ireland or London or Britain or
But
Norwegian.
bro, you're
They did
looking at
not
the
bring
night
you over here, sir. They never brought you
again.
here because they were working
Again,
themselves.
what was the year?
1928.
So why don't you go to 1600? Exactly where the black folk was at.
And that was because black people was enslaving black people. That's why they always say Africans enslaved y'all. We got y'all from the Africans. That's exactly what they say.
No,
Because
that's not true.
Africans was enslaving Africans. Right.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, bro, what you have to understand is back during those days, slavery was a motherfucking profitable business, and every
Now look
fucking
at this one
country
right here
did
with no, they didn't
it.
even have shoes to give them because they were
Yeah.
that poor. Look at he don't have
It,
any
it
shoes on,
wasn't
man. This
even,
is not
bro,
fair, man.
it wasn't
Now
even
I'm gonna
that
ask
they,
you right now, which one is worse? The children of the adults. Which one is worse? To enslave a child or an adult?
bro, the only thing that's worse is bringing shit up that's in the past.
Right, and nobody want to talk about the
There's no
trauma
need,
they went
there's,
through.
there's
Now I
no
want to
need
look
to
at it
talk
like
about
this.
it.
Now we understand human trafficking and little children getting, you know, I can't say the word, but
I know
great.
what you mean. Yeah.
Could you imagine how they was taken advantage of?
No,
They
I
don't
don't.
have nobody protecting them. Do you know those pervs, what those pervs was doing to these children? I can just imagine. And y'all want to run around here talking about what happened to some Africans, some big grown men? Let's talk about the women, the little girls that had to endure this. And this is what year? The cotton mills, the struggles. Look, this from spindles to the struggles, lives of young cotton mill workers. They're gonna call them workers, but we know they don't have no freedom. They don't have any rights.
This is
They're
why
not no workers.
immigration,
They're not
bro.
getting paid.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go
This
ahead.
is why. This is why immigration reform or what Donald Trump's trying to do is so important. Because they're doing it to the immigrants who are coming in this country. They're doing it today.
All right, hold on, Toro Loco. Let me address somebody in the comment. Remasu. He says, funny when a ninja read a little book with pictures and get worked up. Um, I understand it. You know, this messes with your lily white image of being, superior and running a world or whatever. But this right here tells a different story, man. I know that you feel some type of way that you wasn't on top back then, so you're mad that we're looking at these pictures. But the fact of the matter is, your people were working in these mills. You're ashamed of it, sir. You're no, don't block them yet. You're ashamed that your people had to work with no shoes on and can barely afford shoes or bread. Look at that. You're mad. See, he's in his feelings because I'm showing the world that his people had no shoes. I'm sorry to cut you off, but psychologically, this is prevalent
What year is
because
that again?
what year is this? Let's go and get the year. Let's go and get the year. What year is this? Now this one right here is in Newberry, South Carolina. Let's go and get the
Hmm.
year. Let's get the year. Oh, this one right here. Oh, this was in 1908 right here. This is not good because you said according to y'all, they had y'all over here for 400 years.
No, they
400
had
years
us.
they've been
They had.
beating down Irish and Africans.
They had
How
us
did these
here
little
longer than
children
that.
do y'all like that? They were some superpower having mofos. If they can beat you, they can put y'all in work and they had to work themselves. That's what I'm talking about. How? How did
Easy,
these little children bring y'all over here?
easy.
But they were
They were
working in the
sold.
factories.
Yeah, they were sold. They were
That's
sold.
wrong, man. Come on, you said so. Come on, man.
They were sold, bro.
Oh, they
Look
were
it up.
sold.
Yeah, look it up on Google. Say how many Irish and Scottish were sold to America
Dang, man.
in the 1600s. I'm serious.
Oh, this
Look it
is
up,
in
bro.
Mississippi. This one is in Mississippi. Oh man.
Why do you
Wow.
think almost everybody in America has Irish, has some kind of Irish in them?
Well, I
There's even
don't.
black
I
folks
have
here.
zero Irish ancestors. Zero, and
No,
I
that's
mean.
fine. But I talked to a lot of black folks who were like, man, I got a little bit of Irish in me. And I was like,
Yeah,
I'm sure you do.
they primarily be from Jamaica though. Those be people from
You,
Jamaica. They don't be from up here. Like we don't have that
nah,
up here. Like Mississippians, we don't. A lot of us be Welsh. We have Welsh ancestry, French, and Spanish. You know, we are primarily those three groups. We don't have a lot of Irish up here though.
Spanish is white.
I don't know about that. I don't
Comes
know.
from Europe, bro. Where's Spain
Yeah,
on the
but
map?
that same area was ruled by Moors for over almost 1,000 years, so I don't agree with that.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Moors were south of Egypt. They were more in the jungle. They weren't in the desert. The
Now they
desert
was
was
more in the jungle.
the desert. Yeah, they were more in the jungle. The desert was owned by ancient Rome, which was white.
How the hell do you know everything though? You got to answer for everything. I don't know.
Because I actually take the time to read history because I'm a geek when it comes to it. I actually
But you
like it.
don't. But you don't know about the child labor in Maine. Right here, this little child couldn't bring you over
No,
here, sir.
I
How
actually
the hell
know a
did he
lot.
bring you over here when he was working all day?
I actually know all about it.
Okay,
It's part of my ancestry, dog.
go and read up on it. Child labor use, children in the industry business, children through any form. Okay, brief history of child labor in the U.S.
You should ask how many of those children were of Scottish and Irish nationality. That's what you should
I
ask him.
told you I don't care about that. I'm only worried about white children right now. I don't care
That's
about
the same thing.
nationality.
White is Irish and Scottish, brother.
Okay, you just said it was black Irish too, though.
Black Irish means that they intermingled with Spaniards. Spaniards are the reason why they call them Black Irish is because they were the only kind of Irish who actually could tan.
Right.
Yeah,
So what
white
about the
people tan.
English ones? What about
You
the
have to.
English? Let's go look at the English slave. See if we can find some English slave.
There
That's
were
what I'm worried about. I'm not
there
worried
were
about
little to none. I know
English.
nobody cares about the Irish or the Scottish. We're used to it. It's all good, bro. That's
No,
why we don't cry about it. We'll
you
rather
had
fight
your
about it.
chance. You basically broke it down for us, and people heard about it today. You see, okay, look at this right here. See, this is scary stuff right here because now we got to go into okay. Now we got to look at it right here. Look, Quakers and slavery. Now we see who was enslaving them. See, they don't want to talk about that. Look at those little children. Look in the background. Look who's running the household. You see, now we got to talk about it because, oh, look at those black adults back there with those little white children
Oh
in
yeah,
defense of white slavery.
there was black slave owners.
Whoo, wait, that's scary stuff, and they don't want to talk about it.
No,
They don't
because
want to talk about it.
it's all about the narrative, bro. It's all about
Exactly.
polluting.
They want
It's
to
all
push
about
a
polluting the name.
narrative that white people had it all good and they owe reparations. No, they owe these white people reparations, and that's a fact.
It's not even about owing white people reparations. The reason why they suppress it is because they want division in the country, and that's how they have fucking control over the population.
I mean, but regardless,
That's what it
whether
comes
they
down
want
to,
control
bro.
or not,
No, it's
we
all
need
about
to talk
control.
about the so.
How do you keep a party of a Democratic and a Republican party still within the power spectrum of the American vote? You keep both sides fighting and feuding over each other based upon color. Why do you think when you sit there and you're like, I want to talk about white people? Well,
I
ain't
feel you
Irish
though, but
people
my
white?
concern is getting
Ain't
white people
Scottish white?
reparations. I'm trying to get white
Nah,
people their
we
reparations,
don't
sir.
want it. We don't want
Yes,
it.
they do. I know a lot of them who want it. I just talked to a lot
Well,
of them.
they straight punks, bro. They straight punks, bro. They some sorry ass motherfuckers. No, I'm serious. They victims, bro, and they deserve where they're at in life.
That is
God
wrong to
bless them.
say,
That
man.
is
That's
not wrong. That
insane.
no, God bless them. I love them. But for you to have a victim mind for something that you never went through, but your grandfathers went through, bro, you a sorry and excuse of life.
Look at this one right here. Rebecca, a slave girl from New Orleans. They didn't call her a what is the word? A what's the word? I just said it earlier.
Indentured
Damn.
servant.
Indentured. Thank you. See, you're smart. They're not calling her indentured. Ain't no telling what they was doing to this little girl because she don't have no rights. A pale mixed girl in New Orleans. Look at this one right here. Emancipated slave from New Orleans. This is scary stuff because it's going to rewrite history, and we're going to find out what that Confederate battle was really about. We got another guest want to come up here, see what you're talking about. Country, I think you just sent me a gift, man. If that was you, nothing but love, man. On the
Yeah,
real.
man. I sound like the conversation getting interesting, man.
Yeah, man. So, well, what do you agree with or disagree with? Do you think I'm wrong for highlighting what happened to these white people?
No, I don't think that. I think you're bringing light to true information, man, that people need to pay attention to.
Exactly. Now, I hear
One
my
thing,
other
one
Why?
guest
thing I
up
was
here,
gonna say,
Toro.
one thing I
Yes.
was gonna say, basically a slave was just a lifelong indentured servant. The
Anyway,
Yeah, that's how it started off. There was indentured servants where you would work a certain amount of time and then you would be, you could go about your business. But
right.
then it turned into a lifelong indentured servant. That's where the whole slave kind of thing came about. That's what I mean, that off base of my research, that's what I looked at so far. And I think, that there's uh, up north, there's up in Canada or the Northwestern Territories, there's some places called Slave or
Oh, Slave
SLAVE.
Lake. You talking about Slave Lake? I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, man, I ain't never really did know, I was kind of looking at geography. I was like, man, I want to go look at some stuff. So, but yeah, but appreciate you bringing me up on the panel, man.
Yeah, I'm glad that I was able to shed light on this and bring people around to really draw attention to this because now we got to look at the fact of our people owning land and having a lot of wealth, and we our people could have been behind this, and this is why they got punished. And they don't want to talk about it because they want to be the only victims brought over here from Africa, and I disagree. I believe our people, the wealthy planters, landowners, they hired these people and they refused to let them go, and that's why they lost their stuff in the Civil War. That's my take on it. But anyway, Miss, I don't know what the rest is, but I don't know
Give
if you
up.
agree or disagree.
I can't, Miss. I can't give up. I
I
was trying to
can't.
get to your full point, and before I answer, so your full point is what?
It was
I don't
white
know if you.
slaves.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier in the video, I was
Uh-huh.
showing images of little teeter totters. I'm talking about 5, 6 years old, and
Uh-huh.
they were working in these factories, and they were just getting slapped
Uh-huh.
around and whatever.
Right.
And Juneteenth is about African American and African slaves free from
Uh-huh.
Texas. I'm
Right.
like, okay, but what about the white children? They didn't get proper compensation. They've been poor forever,
Yeah.
and nobody's talking about them because black people are, they want to talk about them. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about the black people that had white people, little children, doing chores all day for 13 straight hours, and ain't no telling what else they was doing to them.
Okay. Are you speaking of the mulattoes?
Not just mulattoes, anybody that look white. Not just
Got you.
mulattoes. Pale
Okay.
What's a
ones.
mulatto?
A mulatto is a um
Oh,
But
mulatto.
somebody's
YT
mixed. Yeah,
Oh, let's
and
somebody's
okay.
mixed,
Let's talk
and
about
a
these ones right
half and
here.
BLK
half.
I don't want to
that
talk
were
about.
from
Let's not
that
talk
were
about
from.
mulattoes. Let's talk
Okay.
about this one right here. So these are mulattoes right here. So these are okay. Let's read it. I want to actually read from this right here. Let's read from it. A group of workers in Marida's Mills could not get the youngest, so they couldn't even get the youngest. I went through the meals in the morning and saw some very young workers and a number of little dinner toddlers who were helping. A school teacher told me that the parents count on the children learning to work this day during the noon and encourage the people that work at that time. So basically, these children got to go to school and work with no shoes on. So ain't
I
no
got you.
telling how poor they were.
All right, but first of all, I want to say that even though I want to go back, the mulattoes were still considered BLK.
Yeah.
They were Louisiana plus YT plus BLK, but they were born in Louisiana, but they were still considered BLK. So you're talking about the original YT kids. That's what you're talking about.
I mean, all of them. It was just mulatto, mixed,
Uh,
regular whites. They were all with no shoes on. Nobody's
yeah,
talking about it. And the
yeah.
reason why I'm bringing it up is because they want to make it like white people had it so good.
Mm,
And, No, a lot of them didn't have it good, and they
But
didn't bring you over here.
I've already studied 30 years ago.
They
It
wasn't
was
Uh,
a
they
it
wasn't
was
no
a
I was
lifetime slaves.
it was a small percentage of slave
They was
owners.
I was trying
indentured
to
servant.
say
They wasn't no
Oh, they said it
lifelong
was
I'm
a
trying
small
to
slave.
percentage. It was a small percentage. Okay, I got you.
no
No.
no
Go
I'm
ahead.
just saying.
mulattoes are not.
I'm saying
They,
in no. I'm
I
saying
can't
in
even.
general. I'm talking about of the population of slave owners in the United States. It was a
Mulattoes are the
small
More
ones in
than
the
percentage in
Ohio.
300,000
to
white
the whole
people were shipped
population
to
that
the
was here.
Americas
Y'all
as
talking about
slaves.
5 different things, but he's
Did you
talking
hear
about the
that?
regular YT.
Look at that. More than
No, I'm
300,000
just
white
talking in
people were
general.
shipped to America as
I got you.
slaves.
Well,
What?
if you look at the Emancipation Proclamation, this is just my take on it. If
What
you
a year?
read the
What
Emancipation,
year is that?
if you if you read the Emancipation
To labor
Proclamation in
in the
the
tobacco fields. So instead of picking cotton, they were over there picking tobacco.
Wait a minute.
gotcha.
You
Says it
guys are.
right there.
This is a lot of misinformation. This is a lot of
So
misinformation.
what? Google lying?
No. Cause
That
no. First
that
of all,
happened in
first of all,
1900s.
my major in
Nah,
college
it
was
actually
that. Well,
started
wait.
in the 1600s.
My major in
That
college
many
is
people
African
though.
American Studies,
You
and you
gotta
guys have a
understand
lot of.
something. A lot of the Irish and the Scottish were shipped over here in the
You
1600s in
can't get a word
Americas,
in
Ma'am,
for
you
him.
and a lot
ma'am,
of
you don't think
them.
there's no white slaves, ma'am?
Well, no, look, one man, I'm
No,
trying to
no,
help
no,
out.
no.
I'm
They
Irish,
came
bro.
over. White people
Bro,
came over.
oh
First of
my
all,
god.
the first Irish that came over
Good
here.
lord.
The first Irish that came over here were indentured servants.
No,
They
they
Thank
came.
you.
weren't.
They were shipped
Yes, they
over
were.
here.
No, they
Please
weren't.
listen.
Why don't
Please
you read the
listen. They
article?
were shipped over here.
Nah,
The
bro, I'm
first
not.
Irish
So you want
settlers.
me to say that black people weren't cattle slavery in the South? That's ignorant, right?
Sir, listen to
Right?
me.
Be
Black people
respectful,
weren't.
man. They're saying
Listen
Be
to what I'm
3,000
respectful. You over
years.
here
saying.
They
doubting
ain't
my
saying
ancestors
3,000.
as Irish people, bro.
You did.
What's wrong with you?
What book have you read, sir?
It's
What
saying
What
book have
book
you
have
300.
read?
you read?
You're
It's
saying
sitting right here in front of
300,000
your
My
white
face.
people,
my
not
It's
Irish.
major
It's
sitting
saying
right here in your
300,000 white
face.
people,
That
my
not
came from
major in
Irish.
London,
college was
fool. Do
African
you know
American
where
studies.
London and Ireland are at? Do you know
You
the
sir.
occupation of
Yeah,
Ireland
the, and
actually
the,
was from London? Are
yeah,
you
and the
serious?
indigenous people from London was black.
No,
Irish
you're,
too.
bro, you're
Irish
an
too.
idiot, bro.
You
Irish
was
people are white.
European. First
You're an
European
idiot,
were
bro. So
black,
you're
man. You
telling me
don't
my
know no.
mother's black, bro? You telling me
I
my
don't know
mother's
what your
black?
mother is. I ain't
My
talking about
mother,
your mother.
my mother's last
You
name is
brought your mother
McCullers,
in there.
bro.
I ain't
All right,
talking
I'm
about your
I'm
back,
a
mother.
straight
y'all. I'm
Mick,
back. Let's
bro.
do
Because
one at a
Irish owned
time.
slaves, sir.
I'm a straight Mick,
Let's see
bro.
if we can do one at a
MIC.
time.
Irish
You know
owned
why I can't
slaves.
get banned,
After
bro?
the
Why
indentured
you know why
servants
I
were
can't get
considered
banned for
white, they
racism?
started
Because I'm
owning
Irish, bro. I
slaves.
can say Mick. Like how y'all can drop that gur shit. So don't sit
Mm.
here and tell me about my motherfucking history, bro. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you about
You need to
yours.
read about your history, man.
Nah, you need to read about yours as well.
I know,
Sir,
man.
All right,
You
one at
don't
a
know
time.
damn
No
shit,
cussing.
bro.
One at a
ma'am,
time.
I
I
want.
know,
We
man.
got a
Me too. I
Yeah,
woman
don't
up here,
know
Nah,
y'all.
anything
bro.
about history,
No,
boy.
what
Let's
it
get the
comes down
woman.
to is that
Let's
you
let
a
the
bunch of
woman.
sorry ass motherfuckers, bro, and we
Let's get
ain't.
the
you're very
woman up here. Hold
uneducated,
on one
sir.
Got your
second.
No,
feelings
you
hurt
One
now.
sorry.
Very
second.
You
Got your
sorry.
uneducated.
feeling
Hold
hurt.
on one
You got
second.
your
We got a
feeling
woman
hurt.
up here, y'all. I want to let the lady get it in. Y'all can't do
Yeah,
her
go
like
ahead.
that.
You
Go ahead. You
sorry
got it.
looking for a handout.
No,
I
we
ain't
ain't.
looking for
Come
no
on
handout.
now.
I got
Yeah,
money.
yeah, you looking for
You know, it's sad
reparations,
that you
bro.
use white men's talking points as your means to have a comeback. First of
Bro,
all,
nah,
the
he's a
first
good brother. He's actually bringing light
wait,
to you
first of all,
motherfuckers,
the
bro.
first Irish that were brought over here were brought over here as indentured servants from the prisons.
Man, get your ass
From
out of
the
Right,
here with that
prisons.
right,
shit.
You can
right.
Google that.
Ma'am,
That's
ma'am. What is an indentured servant turn to? How does an indentured servant turn into a slave?
an indentured servant does not turn into a slave. An indentured
Right.
servant,
Ma'am,
listen,
ma'am.
Right.
listen,
That's what a slave
listen,
is a
Let her
That's what
lifelong
chattel
talk.
listen. An
slavery
indentured
is.
indentured
servant.
That's
servant
what
is
chattel
Ma'am, a
slavery is.
slave is
Chattel
a
slavery is to do
lifelong
as they told.
indentured
That's what
servant.
an
What are you
indentured
talking
an
That's
servant
about?
is.
That's
indentured
chattel
no
servant.
slavery.
difference. An indentured servant can do time and then be freed.
Exactly,
And
exactly,
a slave is somebody who does a lifelong
exactly.
indentured servant.
Right, right.
No, they're not, because indentured
Oh my
servants had a
God, bro.
You
time
see what I'm
period
saying,
in
brother?
which
I'm
they
not
would
trying to
be
be
free.
ignorant,
They,
but
they get to
these
work off they.
motherfuckers are goofy,
Oh
bro.
my
They get
God,
to
you
work.
guys are.
They get to work their.
This is
Hey,
why
Toro, come on,
we're
man.
in.
Work with the
This is
people,
why
man.
half of y'all
I'm
Please,
voted in
man.
trying,
Trump,
bro. I'm
because
trying.
this
It's
is some
just the brain
uneducated.
cell level.
This is
It's
like
the brain
crazy,
cells,
and y'all
bro.
don't even want to listen.
Come on.
Ma'am, do
Okay,
you
one at
know
a time.
And
One
can
at a
I ask
time.
Miss Troy? Miss
do
Troy,
you
Detroit.
understand that
Detroit.
when they went to court, they made people lifelong indentured servants?
Ugh.
That's what made them a
Indentured
slave.
servitude was not lifelong, sir.
Yes, it
Oh
was.
my God. Are
Let's
you
look it
not
up.
used listening to the word
Let's look it up.
lifelong indentured servant until they
They come over
died?
here and work for
That
so
was the
long
whole
and get
point.
some land.
Yes, but there were people that were lifelong indentured servants.
That's
That's
chattel
what made us
slavery.
slave.
That's chattel slavery. Look
Oh
up the
my God. Y'all
definition
don't
of
even go
chattel
look at the
slavery.
court cases, man.
So what is
Oh
chattel
They
man,
won't.
slavery by
They're ignorant,
definition?
bro.
What is chattel slavery by definition? Anybody?
It says
it's
it.
lifelong.
Look. I just googled it.
Okay.
Y'all just do a simple Google search. No, indentured servants were not lifelong. Indentured servitude was a system where individuals agreed to work for a set period of time, typically 4 to 7 years, in exchange for passage to the new country. Boom! It's
Right.
on. It's an AI overview. Room,
Miss
board, and
Troy, Miss
sometimes an
Troy.
apprenticeship. Once the contract was fulfilled, they gained their
Yes.
freedom. Their
Okay, we
kids were
got it.
not sold. It wasn't chattel.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God! It was not
Miss
chattel
Troy,
slavery.
are you saying that YT people were not
And the reason that
SLAVERY?
that man has
Are you saying that they were not? Are you saying that they were not SLAVEs? YT people.
exactly.
You saying that they never were?
No,
Really? I don't
no.
think we're well I disagree, so I don't know about nobody
Well,
else.
you know what? What
I disagree,
they were
So
ma'am.
what
not.
is
They
this
were
right
not
here then?
subjected. They were
Yes,
not
they were.
subjected. They were
Yes, they
not.
were.
They
So
were
what is
Yes,
not.
they
this right
were.
here then? What is
Yes,
this?
they were, ma'am.
What is she doing?
Yes.
Th- Once
They never
again,
got emancipated. They never
one,
got emancipated.
once again,
Exactly.
no indentured servants were not lifelong. Indentured servitude was a
But
system where individuals agreed to work for a set period of
ma'am,
time.
they were SLAVEs. That's the bottom line. That's how they got over here.
Let's read this right here. Let's just read this. Check this out. What I found right here. It says that hold on one sec. Let's read it together. It says the 17th and 18th century, more than 300,000 white people were shipped to America as slaves.
Exactly.
Urchins were swept up from London streets to labor in the tobacco fields where
Yes.
life expectancy was no more than 2 years. See, that's what caught my attention. Because that means in order for them to only be expected to live for a few years, that means they was working them to DEATH. Now, also look at this. Another form of
Could have been
slavery.
diseases.
Right. Brothels, y'all know what a brothel is. That's a whorehouse. Were
Yes.
raided to provide breeders for Virginia. So they were breeding them, they were brutalizing them because they wasn't living that long, and it was more than 300,000. That's a lot of dang on people. That's white people. That's not even, we're not even talking about African and black. We're talking about white.
So
That's
you're
Right.
scary
saying
stuff.
it says, while not chattel slavery, indentured servitude in colonial America, while not chattel
Mm.
slavery like that imposed on Africans, many white Europeans were brought to the Americas as indentured servants. These individuals often agreed to work for a set period, typically 4 to 7 years. The reason that a lot of black people, and myself included, have Irish names is because the Irish became one of the biggest um, slave slave holders in America. They were some of the biggest. So no,
That's
they
your
were
false. That's the false teaching that you've been
no,
reading.
they
Right.
Yes,
ma'am, you
ma'am.
can if you
They
look at
been look, ma'am. Look,
ma'am,
ma'am.
I'm a
Look, look,
you know
look,
what?
look.
I've done genealogy
Hold up.
research for
Hold
20
up.
years.
Hold up,
If you
ma'am.
if
Wait a minute. You
slave
said you
records
you said you studied African American studies, right?
and I've done genealogy research for 20 years.
Okay. You said you've studied African.
I've done genealogy research for
Okay,
20
great.
years.
You said you've been studying African American studies, right? And my sister has a PhD in African American studies, and she's a college professor. So my point to you is, a lot of things that you're teaching is different than what we've researched. That's all I'm trying to say to you.
Right. It's a little
You're not
bit,
going to
everybody
read this
don't
in a
got the
regular
same
book.
info.
See,
I,
not nothing, no disrespect to you, but you're studying African American studies. We're talking about something else. We're going to
right.
YT. We're studying something totally
Oh,
different.
so you're
Your
studying white. So
studies
you're
are
studying white
African
history
American.
that's
Your
been said to
studies,
you by white
yours,
people to make it
we're
seem like they
we're not
suffered
seeming like
chattel slavery like African Americans.
your
So this
degree
is what let
is
me
in African American studies. That's what I'm
Miss
trying to
Give
show
Up.
you.
This
African.
Miss
Mhm.
Give Up. Let me
Yes,
explain. Let me
sir.
help.
Thank
What
you.
we're saying is We are so focused on African, we're not getting the full scope of the white. That's
Right,
what we're saying. Other things happen, they're not telling us because they're ashamed. They don't
right.
want to tell us how they were hungry for 6 days in a row and the little kids couldn't eat and read and write.
That's why they
They're
were
not going to
sent
tell you
over here.
that.
They were
They want
working
to tell
for
you how
us.
bad the blacks had it, but we're seeing blacks with mansions, cars,
Right.
When they
Wait a
got here.
minute.
airplanes.
Wait.
Yes, see there? She don't know.
Yeah.
Because I'm one step
You
out of
right.
civil rights.
She don't know. She don't know.
No, I
We
do know,
find
ma'am.
blacks
I
with
know a
all type
lot.
of land and
I do know a lot.
millions of dollars, while white
Right,
people are out here hungry.
right.
We're talking
What?
about.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yes,
Let's go
Yes.
yes.
short.
You
Do I
right.
got a short? Do I got a short,
Right.
y'all? Let me short. I got you.
You
Watch
right.
this.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm a short right now.
Come on.
Look at this right here. This finna blow her mind right
I
here.
have
Watch this.
Yeah.
never been in a live like this ever
Yeah.
before in my
Yeah.
life.
You ain't never heard of this before. Come on, different.
Watch
Caping
what
for
I'm finna
white
show her,
folks.
y'all.
Come on,
Watch
show
this
her.
right here.
Never in a million years would I have
She
thought
said
Yeah.
this.
never in a million years.
It's
Watch
in
this, y'all.
reverse. It ain't like
Look.
what he told her. It's in
Oh my
reverse.
goodness. This finna blow
Right.
your mind in if you ain't never seen
Yeah.
No,
that.
it's not
Now
really
look
gonna
at
blow
this
my
right here.
mind.
You see
Yes,
this
it
right
is.
here?
Yeah.
This is a historical marker called the Negro Building. So
Uh
when
huh.
those children were out there working, you were out here owning buildings like that in the 1800s. This is in
Yeah.
1875.
Oh my
Yeah.
What
That's
are
right.
you doing owning a
god.
building like this if you're from Africa?
He telling the
And
truth.
then and
What?
then we were kings and queens over London, over
Right.
England. They
Right.
were working for us.
Right.
Exactly.
See? See, you haven't been taught this. Because you were so
This is
busy
Oh,
this.
studying African
okay.
American studies, right?
Okay, if that was the
No,
case, then why is England a monarchy that is ruled
Wait,
by?
don't ask no more
Wait,
listen
questions.
wait,
to the
let me
fact
no,
that
You put
Let
it
me
out there. So
let me
let me
tell you
ask
something.
you.
Host,
Let
let
me
me
ask
tell her
you.
something.
The
Wait a minute.
queen was a black woman.
If we
Let
look
me tell you something. Don't ask me nothing. Read the Emancipation Proclamation of
no.
1863.
You're
Wait a
skipping.
minute.
You're
Listen,
pivoting.
ma'am.
You're
Listen.
pivoting.
Listen. I'm not
Calm
pivoting.
down,
I
girl.
want you to read the Emancipation Proclamation. It freed them. Read the last three paragraphs and you will see. It said we're freeing all people. It didn't say BLK people, ma'am. It gave them the right to vote. It gave them citizenship because they were not citizens here, ma'am.
right.
Is
See, go
this
back and read the go back and read the Constitution, and you will see why we haven't received reparations. They have already received it because they were the ones that were not free. They were the ones that were not citizens. They were the ones that could not vote, ma'am. It free Abraham Lincoln freed them.
Right.
is
See?
this is
He
this
I
the
like
freed
you. I
them.
like you.
So
I
Abraham
like you. You
Lincoln
know what's going on. You can't
free
be
white
fooled.
people
is
from
this
black
Yes,
live
people.
about
yes. We were already
slaves?
free.
That's what the war was about, for them to be
Right.
free.
So
The war was not about us
black
being
people were free
slaves.
and white
Listen,
people
ma'am.
were slaves.
Listen, ma'am.
What
Yes,
war?
Calm
the
down,
war
man.
was
Don't
not
About
hold
a
the
slaves,
woman like
period.
that.
God have mercy.
Get some
I want to
respect.
say one thing, sir, man. People, I have a commenter in here named Koki Hawaiiano. He says his grandmother and grandfathers were brothers. They were bought from an orphanage. Here's a white man telling you his family was bought from an
Yeah.
orphanage.
And TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Hold on.
Oh
Is
my
this live
God.
about just like slaves, period, or a certain period?
He's saying
Uh,
white people were slaves, so I don't know.
that's
He's
what
saying
you
white people.
were, allegedly.
White
Okay, let's
people
go and
were
show
This
slaves.
him.
TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only.
So let's go and break that down. Let me educate the people right
He'll
quick.
show you. Come on. Come on, host. Come on.
So first of all, it's an ethnicity. And they were the first people that were called it. Right here, look, Slavs. This is what they were called long before you were
Yeah,
called that.
white
So
people.
white people were called Slavs. That's what they're called right now in Ukraine.
Slavs are
Well,
Slavic.
not only Ukraine, but yeah.
I mean, that's not only Ukraine, it's other places, but they already had this label before these black victims.
But
Now,
that was actually thousands years
thousands of years, exactly. Look,
before they were
Slavic
even called
heritage. Look,
Slavs.
Slavic. See, that's what I'm saying. You know, they went around here wanting to be the first slaves, and that wasn't even their name. You got that later after these people,
Right, but white
hundreds of
people were
years.
slaves well before any other slave was even a thing.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to tell them. White people have been through it. The black African
Yeah, 'cause
Americans went through it. Now they want to act like they're the only ones who went through it. Hold
Right.
on.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm so rude. I got Lulu Bella up here. We did not even introduce you, Lulu Bella. I'm so sorry. What's going on, Lulu? Still there? He probably got tired of us arguing. Well, we can go back, y'all.
No,
Now,
I just joined and heard the argument between, was it Ricky or was it Troy
yeah,
and
Troy
Miss
and Ricky,
I?
yeah. But you can attest, Noit. So I can't really say your name, but you agree
No.
that white people were slaves, right?
Oh yeah,
Thank
white
you.
people were slaves from the beginning. There
That's
was
what
no
we're
black
trying to tell
slaves until
the
there was
professor
white
down here.
slaves. White slaves were the first slaves.
Yeah.
But that's not what's being taught in history.
That's
No,
not
not in
what's
the
being
no.
taught, and they think that
That's
we're
not
Not
what's
being
being
even
taught
taught.
in the schools.
they ain't even
That's not
teaching
what's being
African
taught in
How
American history.
colleges.
how can you go that far back?
How can we not?
You
Because
can't.
that's
How can
five
we not?
thousand years ago, dude.
How can you not?
You still can go back that far.
Why would you start off with Harriet Tubman? Why don't you go
Do
back a little
you
further?
hold up? Do you really think that black slaves are the only slaves?
Sir, please don't finesse
No,
me.
no. I'm asking you a
No,
question.
he's not being sarcastic. I think he's talking about to the other female who's trying to say, white people weren't slaves and they're trying to
No,
minimize
no. I'm
them to
asking him.
indentured. We're not trying to minimize them. See, my initial question is which one is worse? This is it right here. Check it out, y'all, so y'all can understand why I did this. 1 second. Check this out. This is the prompt right here. Which was worse, the enslavement of little young children or African American chattel slavery? So I'm in my mind, children have no control. They are so little they can't even escape. They're brainwashed.
Exactly.
Which one is worse, the abuse of little children or some grown adults that could have ran away? And when they were set free, they didn't even go back to Africa. They just sit around celebrating this holiday every year, instead of going back to Africa. These little children is
I feel
traumatized
bro.
forever.
White people didn't have a thought. They couldn't do nothing.
They couldn't do nothing. They messed up all our histories. It was somebody in the chat. Exactly. Nothing's accurate, but our
No,
people want to be
no.
victimized so much they want to overlook the other people. Did y'all know the Asians went through it too? They had to build the railroads. The Asians.
Yeah.
Well, along with the Africans.
Yeah, but I just want to focus
Then
on the Asians right now. We know the
look at many
Africans,
Africans come to North America.
the Africans or whatever, they went through it. We understand that. But let's talk
They
about
went through
other
most of
people
them went down
too.
through most of them went through Brazil. Whole lot of them went to Brazil.
Yeah.
They
But
got the numbers wrong on
Ricky,
that too in North America.
you know your own people sold yourself, yeah?
Nah, anybody showed me.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember. My genealogy don't go back to Africa.
Right.
And
Okay, so
there's another
what are you
falsehood.
fighting against
Let's go in
slavery
here and
for?
show them, y'all. We got some
That's
evidence.
false too, sir.
No, it's
Let's see
not.
it.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
No.
Africa is sold.
Yes, no, sir.
No, it's not. Africa sold
That's the point. We're
slaves
not
to
from
the
Africa.
Americans.
We're from here.
Africa's the one that sold you.
So you see
We're
these
not.
people right here. You see these people
Black
right here.
Portuguese speaking
Well, I
Africans.
can't speak that fucking
You see
language.
these people right here, sir. These are indigenous
Black
people.
Portuguese speaking Africans.
You see them?
I can't speak that language, so no, I don't know.
That's
No, not
Portuguese.
the language. Just look at these people. Look at their
Spanish.
faces.
I see they're black.
Right,
Yeah.
but they're indigenous. They wasn't brought here. That's the point
Right.
we're
I
making.
don't know where the fuck
Right.
they're from.
Right.
This is in
That's
Brazil.
American.
This
Yeah.
is in Brazil. This is the indigenous people, and
Okay,
they look like us.
let me ask, where are you from?
I'm from Illinois. My grandparents is
No.
from Oklahoma, Mississippi, and Utah, Alabama.
And before
There you
then?
go. Hey, cousin.
I'm in Alabama. I'm
What's
in
up,
Alabama.
cuz?
Before then?
Oh, you said before there? We called it Mesopotamia. That was another land. That was another name
And before
previously.
then?
Well, I'm not going back that far.
Oh no, I want you to.
I'm going back that far. I'll just try to go back to the 1600s because what I
No,
want
no,
to
no,
do is
no.
I want to debunk this notion that
No,
y'all brought me here.
where were you
Y'all didn't
from
bring me
before
here.
then?
The reason why I'm doing this is to prove
No,
you didn't bring me
before
here. That's
then.
all that matters.
Before then.
We can go all the way back to Adam and Eve.
Yeah, we can go back a
No.
little further.
We
Are
can
you
go all the
from
way back to Adam and Eve. Don't
are you
stop
from
now.
are you from
No, I'm talking.
Africa?
He's talking
Let's go
about
out. We're
America or
not from
whatever.
Africa.
All black people not from Africa.
Tell the
No, I
truth.
know
We're not
that.
from Africa, sir. We're from right here.
Yeah, and that's
Black.
The Garden of Eden. How about that?
So we
And
can
God
go.
spoke us into
if you're
existence.
not
We
from
didn't come from
Africa,
Adam and Eve.
if you're
Nah,
God
not
we're
from
spoke
not
us
from
into
Africa,
Africa. We ain't.
existence.
I'm gonna be real with you. We ain't from Africa. And
then you're
during the
not
Civil
black.
War, they had something called the Reconstruction era, where they were rewriting history.
Yeah,
So
but then you're not black.
No,
true,
No,
true.
we're
That's
not.
true. We're brown. We're not gonna lie. We are
That's
brown,
not a
but
culture.
we're
That's
not
why we
black at
said we're
all.
indigenous.
black is just a
That's not a
passage.
culture.
Yeah, it's just a descriptor for a group of people that were grouped up together later.
Okay,
Later
but
on, they grouped us all together. We are
say
It's
you're
like
supposed to
saying
be black.
It's like saying I'm a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
say you're rolling on the streets.
So
What are you gonna say? You
let
gonna
me
say
let you
you're
know what we
black or you gonna say you're Native American?
this
We're
is the
Dallas
American
Cowboy
problem.
Indian.
cheerleaders.
We were denationalized. We were denationalized and given
Oh
these terms.
bullshit! You
We're
ain't gonna
gonna
say that on the
And
street.
reclassified.
Yeah.
reclassify
You're not gonna
exactly.
say that on the street. Fuck that.
You said we're not going to say it on the street.
Yeah,
This is the street.
you're
TikTok
not.
So
streets.
they're reaffirming
TikTok
that you guys
streets.
were slaves, but you're saying that you guys were the original slaves, and then they're saying no, we're Native American, and you're saying no, they're not Native. I'm just trying to figure this out.
Oh no.
We indigenous.
Yeah,
That
then
we're indigenous, man.
Okay, I
you
did my DNA. I'm not indigenous.
then yeah, you're not a
That's
slave.
just for you.
You do your genealogy?
Yes, I did my DNA
Okay.
So
genealogy
check
test.
I
I'm
this
not
wouldn't
out right
trust.
here,
indigenous.
y'all.
I wouldn't trust
I have
those
I
anyway.
have
I
zero
wouldn't trust
point
them
zero
DNAs
zero
either.
I
one
wouldn't
percent
trust
Native
those, ma'am.
American.
That's another game right there, ma'am.
Yeah,
You
I
got to
wouldn't
take
Okay,
trust
care of
them.
your
okay,
family.
okay,
No, I
ma'am.
wouldn't say you're a
I took
slave.
two genealogy tests. One which was from an African American company.
Mm,
So I didn't just take one DNA test.
So
mm.
there's a difference
They
between a
don't.
slave
They don't work.
and a Native American that or a native that was forced to take Christianity as their religion.
And some of the
And
indigenous
this
people.
is what you're looking at right now,
Indigenous slavery refers to the enslavement of indigenous people by both
which
British
was to
and European.
make a Christian person.
Yeah, the first Christians weren't even white, right? So that's a different story. So the European colonists in America. So what we're saying is indigenous people were enslaved and maybe some
To
Africans,
make a
and that's how
Christian
they got
person.
mixed up. They got mixed up. And after that, now we got these people rewriting history, calling people colors.
Yeah, and some of the
No,
indigenous
there's a
people were
difference
sent to
between
Liberia too. They probably
Exactly.
And
were.
mulatto,
And the mulattoes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they
and
were mixed.
natives.
Mulatto were mixed.
no, you
Mhm.
can't say your religion or color or anything is a slave.
Yeah, well, they had it. They did their conquest trying to make people Christian. If they didn't want to accept Christianity, they would kill them.
Were you in South America?
Like zero Z, zero at Z, Z,
I've been in South America.
zero at Z.
Were your ancestors from South America?
No.
Sir, the land was connected before the flood, sir, and it
Yeah.
divided
No,
after
Yeah.
the flood. So
I'm asking Ricky.
the land was connected.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking Ricky. Ricky, where'd your people come from?
Right here,
Which is
indigenous,
which is
American.
okay. So you're not black.
No, I'm not black. I ain't never seen nobody black.
Okay.
I'm
I
brown, dark
can't.
brown. I'm dark brown. I ain't black.
And the other one What
the
are you
N word
from?
or whatever. So what we saying is these are terms given to people who didn't know any better. Now
Well,
it's
I don't care what these pictures are.
yeah,
What
these
are
Wait,
are.
these?
So this is just more proof y'all didn't bring these people over here. That's all. Y'all didn't
white
bring.
white people
Then
used to be classified as black, and black people used to be classified as white. It was a caste system one time.
No, I can show you
no,
proof where black people was classified as white.
Ricky, you're
Yeah.
tan.
So what?
You're
Tan.
brown.
Yeah, dark brown, not black.
You're brown.
Yeah. You see my picture, don't you?
Yep.
Hey, Justice, are you religious or spiritual?
I'm
Yeah, I am.
spiritual.
Do you believe in Adam and Eve?
I do.
Okay, do you feel that they were the first people to be born, or were there
Yes.
people on this earth before them?
No, Adam and Eve.
Really? Mm.
There were people on the earth before them.
No.
Mm. See? So
But
what race would you consider them to have been?
not African, it was Middle East.
Really? Mm.
Why
So if
y'all
they were
letting
the only two people on this earth, so are you saying that the Garden of Eden is in the Middle East?
All right, I
Yes.
got an even better question.
No.
So they was the first two people, right?
Yeah.
I got another question. Hold on. So is incest uh acceptable in the Bible? Is that a sin? Incest.
That's how they had to repopulate back on that
Nowadays,
side.
nowadays, yes, it's incest.
So
But
basically, Adam banged his sister. Is what you telling me?
well, I mean, how else would you populate it?
No, she would have been his mother.
Ah, what they telling you is she
Ah,
came from his ribs, though.
Hey,
really?
No,
why
okay.
y'all letting this man handle y'all? Which part of the Caucasian mountains, caveman, did he come from? He
Well,
steady
what we
That-
asking y'all
do
all
is we
these
let him.
questions. Why y'all don't ask him which
he,
mountain he came from?
Jay
he
Sadler,
already
what we
came. He
do
already
is
know that, don't he?
we let
He
them
just
say
sitting there.
things that they contradict. See, we give them enough
No,
rope.
no. Jay
He steady
Sanders.
talking about
We
black
want them
and
to say
black,
these
and he
things.
know we indigenous people. He steady trying to make us look like he want us to be slaves. That's all he trying to steady put out there.
Jay
Like
Sander,
we
where are you
steady
from?
slaves.
That's
I'm from
okay. Let them do
I'm
it.
from Texas.
Where's
Let them
your
do it.
parents from?
I'm an indigenous. I'm from this land just like every last one of us. I
Where's your
wasn't brought
parents
over here
from,
from
though?
Africa, from no off no off no boat that wasn't nowhere near made around those times. Ain't no way in the world. That
Where's your
lying ass slave trade. No way.
Yeah.
Where's your parents
Yeah.
from?
Where my parents from? Matter
You
of
said
fact,
he was indigenous.
my mother, my grandmother is an Indian from Oklahoma. Was probably part of one of them Indians where they shipped them from Florida and they did all that shipping thing and moved all them up
Okay.
to
Where's your
Oklahoma. Was
father
probably
from?
from that. Where they started up all this stuff going on where y'all burned all that down. Y'all know about the Oklahoma
Where's
shit
your
went on.
father from?
Burn them free energy buildings down.
Man, see, where
Now they
is
got to
your
stay in
mother
light
from?
bill.
You steady asking
Free
these
red
questions.
tag.
Which part of the Caucasian mountains was your mama from?
North
Where is it?
Dakota.
Which one? Which part of the Mayflower, which Mayflower your mama hop off of? You asking all these questions about us. What about you?
He
We
from
already know
Ukraine.
about us.
He
Why
from
y'all fat?
Ukraine.
Why did your
To be
people
honest,
flip
you want to know the truth?
the maps and everything?
You
Your
want to know
people
the
flip
truth?
maps.
You
Oh
want to know the
man.
truth?
Come on, man. Tell the truth. Y'all handled
My
us for
family
so
came from the
long.
Nazis from World War II.
See what I'm saying? See
Oh
what
my
I'm
God.
saying?
Go. I love you, man, but you know you can't say that on here, man. I'm gonna let you come
No,
back up.
I'm
I
gonna
gotta drop you.
say it. It's
I'm gonna let you
true.
come back up. Just try to come back up in about 2 minutes. You can't say that N word on here. We ain't gonna play with the small hat people and the N word because
All right.
the other one too, the opposite of the union. You can't say those three things on here. They're gonna restrict you if you say that word. Dude with the small mustache in Germany, just say that. That's how you say that. You certain things you can't say on TikTok. But anyway, dude, in my chat, zero. You're talking about some workers, right? You mentioned to me about, oh, they're just workers. Now I want you to read this, since you're so adamant about proving who's some workers. Now read that for me, because it says it right here. 300,000 white people were shipped to America as slaves. I'm worried about what happened to those people, sir. You're worried about some workers. I'm talking about white slaves. 300,000, and that's just one colony. So we're talking about upwards towards a few million of these people shipped to America. And they always try to minimize their experience by
Okay,
calling them indentured and workers.
and read
Yeah,
the rest of it. It said were swept up from London's streets to labor in the tobacco fields, where life expectancy was no more than 2 years. Their
Yeah,
life expectancy was
and
and
no
that
that
go
more
to
than
hot
two
show you
sun.
that
years.
they were in harsh conditions. That's what that
Exactly.
proves. So they
Brothels
try to
were
minimize
raided.
it and say
Right.
they're just workers. So you mean to tell me workers are passing away in 2 years?
Yeah, and that hot sun, they ain't used to it.
Right. So
Meaning
that's
they
that's
were
called
not good
that's
slaves.
called brutal conditions, and
And,
that's way worse than anything you can imagine. He
exactly.
said 2 years as a toddler. No, we're saying the workers didn't last for 2 years because of the conditions, sir. I'm about to have to get you up out of here because now you being naive. Because
Yeah,
they're so in denial. They're matter of fact, go on and block them because those are the type of people that'll get your live shut down at
Right.
a
yeah. They'll
time
report
is
you.
zero. Go on and block him. Because there's people like that, they're so in their
Right.
feelings. Oh, we know this. No, no. It clearly says y'all were slaves and y'all were passing away in 2 years because of the conditions. And
And they
I'm
invented
saying
it. And
that's
they
worse
invented
than us.
everything. They
That's worse
invented
than our
everything.
people because our people was owning properties. They were buying their freedom. Our people was doing good. We had the most inventions right after emancipation because that go to show you how brilliant we were.
Feeding the whole world.
Feeding the
Not
whole
just
world. So our conditions were different than theirs. Because we said we're not no haters. Those are the type of people that'll get you shut down because they're mad because we're
Right.
proving that these people were slaves.
Yeah,
And we
You're
owned
mad.
everything. We tried to help them and teach them the way, and they came over here and went against us.
right.
Exactly, man. That's
That's what
and
exactly
happened.
what
And
happened.
then they
and they
could not
brought
do
all
anything
type of
with us. And then they went over to Africa to get them to
Locked
come
our
over here
government
and
too.
attack us. And then there you go. See?
all along bringing fleas
Right.
and
Yeah.
diseases and all type of stuff they brought with them. They brought all them fleas,
Bringing people
diseases,
over here to
and
attack us. And they couldn't do anything with us, so they had no other choice but to put chains on.
Then they took 100,000 of to Liberia. You can look up an old map. You see Georgia and Liberia, Mississippi and Liberia.
the sun still unaliving them.
Yeah,
They've been fighting against the sun for
yeah. From day
years.
one. From day one.
I'm up out of here with that. I'm up here making, you know what I'm saying, a smooth point. I don't give a damn what it say, a worker or the S word. Dude, these are little children.
Yeah,
You cannot validate any reasoning for this. You have to be a psychopath to sit up here and minimize what these children went through. And we know it was rougher than that because people take advantage of children.
But see, you got to also understand that this is white people's history. They have changed. They try to change everything. They
Right.
messed
Exactly.
up our history, and then they pushed in 1,000 years. They burned our history down, did
yep,
all that to us. Who shoots the faces off a sphinx? You know what I'm saying? Shoot the
Yeah.
faces off the
but
sphinx and everything,
we
and then
are.
stick up the
And you know
forefathers
why?
and
Because
try to
y'all
come
was
on,
the
man.
original owners.
Come
That's
on,
why.
man.
Right,
Come
right.
on.
We owned
That's
everything.
why.
And watch this. All of the universities that we've gone to as a conglomerate, all of us, all over the world, they made sure that every book never disclosed any of this information of all the
Thank you.
education that we all have, from elementary to middle school to high school to junior colleges to universities to HBCUs. Every book comes from them. You
Hey,
There's
have to
hey,
more.
buy the
where you
There's
books
more
from
from,
them.
books.
Mrs.?
There's
Not to
more
cut you
books
off.
about you
Do you
guys
mind
being
sharing where you
slaves than
from?
there are
Hey, one
being
second, sir.
slaves with
Please,
white people.
please, please don't do that. I'm gonna let you speak because I'm speaking right now. Do you mind disclosing like what state you're from or something like that, Miss? I can't give up. Like, what are
I
your?
will definitely say I'm from the South.
Okay, that's great.
And been in the South all of my life. And like I said, what's up, cuz?
Man, I got nothing but love for you because
All right.
you're the type of person I want to talk to. Now check
All right.
this out. Now, this is why they're running in over there because these countries have records. Remember, I showed y'all the Slavs. They have records of all
Yeah,
of this stuff, and they want to get rid of it before we find out who is
right,
who. Like how you just brought that up. This is what all these wars is about because they want to
Nah,
run in there and get them records because a lot of
they're
them
right.
people. Come on,
right.
man. That's what this is
They're
about.
right.
They're
They're
trying
right.
to hide the fact that we were the gods and they were
They're
the
right.
workers.
Yep.
and everybody else know it, and they're trying to keep it from us. They're
Yep.
trying to tell us, and they're trying to keep it from us. And watch this: our people are also in their countries as well.
Exactly.
We're in their
Mm-hmm.
continents and countries, and they're being hidden as well and silenced as well.
Exactly.
We're everywhere. We all over.
Come on,
We
man.
everywhere. We're
And they
not
want
just
to
here.
cover it
We
up by,
everywhere.
and they don't want us to look because as long as we're celebrating Juneteenth, all we're gonna think
Who
is we're some measly slaves. That
There
we
you
ain't
Yeah.
go.
running nothing.
who do you
Uh
Yeah.
huh.
support?
I ain't even celebrate no Juneteenth.
Me
Yeah,
I
we
ain't
either.
celebrating it. I'm
let's not
celebrating the
Who
let's
do
people
you
not
that was
support?
rich.
I'm gonna celebrate the truth when they
we
bring
still
the truth out. All of it. I don't want a
No,
piece
you
of it.
you
they
brought
Don't
the
trying
start
to
at
you
1776. Go all the way back to zero.
no
Exactly.
you brought the
All
AD.
of it.
Go
you
all the way
brought
back to BC.
no you
Tell me
brought
yeah.
from BC.
you
If
Yeah.
you
brought
can go
that
to
image
Adam,
up.
wait a minute.
You
If you can
brought
go to
that
Adam
image
and
up.
Eve, if you can go to Adam and Eve and give me a Bible, then take me back. Take me back all the way there.
No,
Hey
Don't
man.
start at
you brought that
1776.
you
Hey
brought
man.
the
What about Albert Perry? He went out the country and got his genealogy and DNA.
yeah, but
3,000. He
he
go back 3,000.
300,000 years.
he brought that
300.
image up.
300,060 years. That predate Adam and Eve.
Now,
No, it
here's
doesn't.
another one right here, y'all. Who knows about this right here? Y'all ever heard of this place? Oh, yeah, by the way, it was ran by our people. The
Yeah,
railroad plantation in
they
Louisiana. And
they
guess
took
who were
out
the workers?
they
Y'all
took
want
our
to see
plant they took our plantation houses and put us in a shack.
and now they got us thinking that every last plantation was owned by them when
same
they was
houses we
farmers.
built though. We built
Exactly.
Yeah,
them houses and they put us in
built
the
when they
shacks.
got here.
That's
Exactly.
crazy.
Who
Come on,
brought
Yeah,
up
man.
that's what they
the
trying to hide. They ain't gonna be able to
who?
hide.
No, who brought
Can't
up
hide it.
the
It's over
Israel
with.
and Palestine
They
or
can't hide it. It's over with,
Iran?
man. It's too many records.
Yeah,
Please
And
don't. The
No,
Bible was meant to keep us enslaved.
no,
yeah.
somebody brought that up
Whoever
and
put read the
images.
Bible, do not. The Bible was not for us.
No, we
I
predate
don't
that.
think it was either. I
That's
don't
their
I don't
story.
care.
It
I
That's
don't
shouldn't
their
be.
care.
Well,
story.
somebody brought the image up. They're not speaking up now.
What?
I think the Bible was for us to have some
No,
type
who
of
brought up
compassion for
the
them.
Israel and Iran photo?
The Bible is to keep us enslaved. That's
So
all it
what
is.
No,
I
who
brought
brought
that
it
up,
up?
sir,
The
up top.
Bible, the
I brought
history
that
of
up
America.
because y'all want to suppress the fact that the people y'all claim are African slaves. Y'all want to hide the fact that they were once great ruling things. That's why y'all want to run in these countries and eliminate all these records.
None of us are
Mm-hmm.
saying that
The
Palestine
Moors who
or
built the
any Islam
Tartarian.
group is
Man,
black.
I don't know about the word black. That's a tricky word. I just want to let's
That
say
means good. Ain't nobody black.
tricky word.
that's what they
Anybody can be
use though.
black.
But
Mariah Carey can be black.
that's how the white tea people did. They came and changed the laws, took all our land. Of course, we already know that
What land? What land we
colonized
take
people.
from you?
Yeah. What land did you take? Man, Christopher Columbus came. When he came, he brought all them people over into. We were already here. He
No, you
tried to
Right.
weren't.
use us as he tried to when he called himself going to India when he came here.
To
They're
North
Indians.
America, which was
We
Native
were black.
Americans, not black.
We were already, and we wasn't black. We was already here. Us indigenous
Bullshit. You
people.
weren't here.
Y'all came in and tried to change the land and take everything. When you came with Thanksgiving, that big slaughter you did, try to
Yeah.
kill. Excuse me, my bad. Try to unalive every one of us and then try to say and bring y'all in and make it like y'all was already here and try to just distort history.
No,
Found all the
We feed.
Tartarian stuff that
you are
was going
false.
on. The Moors built the Tartarians.
You
Right.
are
Oh,
false.
y'all was not here. We taught y'all how to bathe and everything. Man, look up
You
y'all
guys were
history,
not here
man.
Don't
neither.
go that far. We don't want to, open them wounds up. We don't want to get personal because that's when, it'll
Well,
get us.
he's taking it
Let's
personal.
not get
So
personal.
No, I'm not taking it
Can I
personal. I already
you
understand
weren't
share?
here.
why I do this. Y'all came in and changed all y'all
No,
made the
you
laws
were
for
not
y'all.
here.
Laws are still made right now for y'all.
You
Y'all
were
did
not
all this.
here.
I'm gonna show him
He's
too. Let me show him. I'm
Y'all did
gonna
all
show him.
this.
Your
can I
I'm pretty
say
This is
sure
family
what I
was
something?
did.
not
you're
here.
probably
Literally.
18 years. You're probably barely 18 years old and don't know none of your history at
No,
all.
Can I jump in?
I'm damn near 30, and
You
you
Can
are
I?
damn near
not.
30. I'm
Hey,
45. I'm
hey,
45.
I'm
And
So
I
serious.
know you
All
weren't.
right,
I'm
let's
62.
stop the racial
That's
spouting right quick. I got other
can I
guests
jump
in
in?
here. I got Bertha in here. I got Bertha and another guest I
Yes.
want to get to. How you
Uh,
doing, Bertha?
hey, I wanted to wait my turn, but I really would love to jump in this conversation.
Yeah, go ahead. You got the floor right quick.
All right. Well, thank you very much. First thing that I recommend, I can't say we because I do believe in the law of one. The first thing that I recommend is being open. Don't be offensive or defensive. We cannot learn if we're offensive or defensive. There's
Right.
something that everybody has to contribute. First off, we are not of this world. All right, that's the first thing. Second thing is study to show thyself approved. We it in If you're familiar with the Emerald tablets, very interesting, very interesting, very magical. I
Yeah.
was in love with the Emerald tablets for many years until I still love it, but I ran into the law of one. And studying the law of one, the American Indians are from Atlantis. Okay. So it goes deeper than that. I am from Louisiana. There is stone art right here in Louisiana at Poverty Point that is 19,000 years BC. So, if we really want to talk about something, let's go deeper and stop pointing to people that are in this material world, because this
Yeah.
is not who we are. And as long as we're looking at things in the material world, you can never access the higher powers because this world is limited. I
Yeah,
am not of this world. So if we want to lift the conversation and stop pointing to um, physical people, the physical people is just the manifestation of the spirit in a body. That's nothing. So
yeah,
let's
yeah.
elevate.
I agree with you so much, and the emotional part is what's bred out of the physical. So we can never focus on the truth if we're always emotional.
Absolutely.
I got another guest. Awoke Media. I haven't introduced
You
you
can
yet.
go,
I'm so
you can
sorry,
put me
man.
down if you want to.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you, sir.
It's
I'll
all
let
it's
you
all
jump
good.
in
I
there.
came up by accident, but there's no such thing as coincidences. So since I was up here, I stayed up here.
Okay.
But real briefly, I'm just gonna say that I'm a Moor. My name never changed. My last name is Moore. My whole family is Moore. My family ain't never been no slaves. You know what I'm saying? We from now. I'm realizing now my family from Jacksonville, Florida area, uh, Augusta, and Savannah area. These areas right here. So doing my research, I already found out that my family ain't never been no slaves.
Right.
We actually had slaves. They was Caucasians. So
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? And we still have our plantations. I mean, if you go around Georgia, you still see the plantations of the Moors.
Yeah. True.
You know what I mean? So, and my name never changed. My whole, I done did a lot. I ain't do as much as I should do, but I've done enough to know that, we ain't never been no slave. But I was
I
just getting
fall
up
under
here
that
because,
category too, and that's why I started doing these videos because my family, we still have our plantation in
You
Utah,
guys are
Alabama,
so
right
full of
now
shit.
today.
Shut up.
Hey, get out of here, lights head. You blocked.
Motherfucker.
Get out of here,
Bullshit.
lights man.
Blah.
Shut up. His name is where is he at? Yeah, I'm gonna end the video now because the mestizo natives is in here. I'm sorry, y'all. I might come back, but they always get our channels blocked. Those are the true enemies. I love that y'all came up here. I'm gonna post this video. But yeah, they be getting our videos shot down, these fake natives. So I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Thank y'all so much.
all right.
Fake ass natives.